Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Generaider Yugioh deck profile for August 2025. For those of you that don't know, the Generaider deck is a level 9, rank 9 monster mashup deck that has the different types and attributes for the level 9 Generaider monsters that all flow into one another with being able to summon each other out and then go into your different rank 9 monsters, whether it be Levitine or our World Snake here, Jormungandr, for the Xyz summon. So a very fun Xyz deck. Hasn't really seen much support since Photon Hypernova, but I like to keep the deck up to date with just the changes I've made since. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and go through the main deck monsters first. For the Generaider monsters, we're running 3 copies of our Vala Seldir, the Generaider bosses. You can only control 1 Vala Seldir of the Generaider bosses. You can only use each effect of Vala once per turn. If it's in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other Generaider card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is special summon, you can special summon 1 Generaider monster from your hand or graveyard, except for Vala Seldir Generaider monsters. So with this card, having that added special summon power can help to set up any of our Generaider Xyz monsters, just being able to special summon another one, and the majority of them being level 9 monsters, making it easier to make our rank 9 plays. The only non-level 9 Generaider monster is our Lopter Shadow of the Generaider bosses. You can only control 1 Lopter Shadow of the Generaider bosses. With this card, all Generaider monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense, and during your opponent's turn, during the main phase quick effect, you contribute 1 Generaider monster to special summon 1 level 9 Generaider monster with a different name from your deck. You can only use this effect of Lopter Shadow of the Generaider bosses once per turn, but it's that setup of being able to tribute another Generaider monster to special summon a level 9 Generaider monster with a different name from your deck, and then being able to tribute itself for that play as well. It just gives you access to the level 9 monsters. So it's a definite 3 of, just because it's one of your go-to normal summon Generaider monsters to then grab the other ones. And then also 2 copies of our Mardal Generaider Boss of Light, a plant level 9 monster. You can only control 1, as they all share with the control 1 card effect. If this card's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Generaider card or 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand, except for Mardal Generaider Boss of Light. You can only use this effect of Mardal Boss of Light once per turn as well, but the search power gives us the added search power for our other Generaider cards. We do run 1 other plant monster to go into Mardal, which has a very similar tribute effect to Lopter, which we'll go over in just a bit once we finish with the Generaider monsters. And then for the one-ofs, we're running 1 copy of Hela Generaider Boss of Doom. Having the control-only effect, you contribute a Generaider monster or 1 zombie monster, or target a Generaider monster or 1 zombie monster in your graveyard with a different card name than the tributed monster, and special summon that card. So Hela works with the graveyard, while our Utgarda is the quick effect to tribute 2 Generaider monsters and or rock monsters to target a card on the field and banish it. So the banish play with Utgarda, the 1 Naglfar for the Fire Beast Warrior, and then if a card you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 Generaider monster or 1 Beast Warrior you control instead. So added protection with this card. And then our last one being Har, Generaider Boss of Storms. With this card, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to hand, except during the draw phase quick effect, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from their hand or field to the graveyard. And when a card effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute 2 Generaider and or Spellcaster monsters, negate the activation, and destroy that card. So these are all one of text just because they have more specific effects depending on the card effect that would resolve. Special summon from the grave, banish effect, protection, and then reaction to your opponent's hand draws. So like I said, all one-ofs for these specific cards. And then also the 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. Not only can Lone Fire Blossom special summon itself out, but it's the main target to get out our Mardal Generaider Boss of Light, since there's no level restriction with Lone Fire Blossom with summoning out a monster from the deck as well. And also 3 copies of Herald of Orange Light, just so we have a card to work for a fairy hand trap kind of lineup with Vala to send this card to the graveyard, because then we have the graveyard effect as well. If it is in the graveyard, to send another Generaider card from our hand to the graveyard to special summon this card. So not only do we get the hand trap option with Herald of the Orange Light, with Vala we also get it set up in the graveyard to then special summon back. And then lastly, for the main deck monsters, the 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Just a small hand trap spot to not take up too much of the clustering for the different monsters we need for our generator plays. For the spells, 3 copies of Generaider Boss Stage. Once per turn, if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Generator monster from your deck in defense. If your opponent special summons if you special summon, not your opponent, a Generator monster, except during your opponent's turn, except during the damage step, you can special summon as many Generator tokens as possible in attack position, but destroy them during the end phase, even this card leaves the field. So the tokens act as more of a defense option lineup, and then also tribute fodder for your own Generator monsters, because then we can use these tokens for the tribute for cards like Udgarda, so one of the better special summon cards to go off of the field spell, and then use those tokens for the tribute play as well, and then being able to have more tribute power with cards like Hela and all of the other options for their tribute card effects as well. We're also running 3 copies of World Legacy Monstrosity, a quick play spell. You can activate one of these effects. You can special summon 1 level 9 monster from your hand, or target 1 level 9 monster you control, and special summon from your deck 2 level 9 monsters, each with different original type and attributes of that targeted monster, with different names, but those 2 monsters cannot attack, and also destroy them during the end phase. But this is just a great spell card to then set up those level 9 monsters to then use for an Xyz play to get around the destruction of those cards. And if you don't go for the special summon from the deck, you can at least go for the special summon from your hand, and not have any restrictions off of that monster. 2 copies of Generaider Boss Quest. You reveal 1 Generator monster from your hand. If you do, add up to 2 Generator spell or traps with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, except for Generator Boss Quest. Then you can place 1 of the reveal cards on the bottom of the deck. You can activate 1 Generator Boss Quest per turn, but it's more of a search and setup with this card. We rely on the field spell for special summoning out a Generator monster in tie to our opponent, so this card just comes down to more of the search power. The 1 copy of Generator Boss Loot. When you control a token, your opponent's monsters cannot target Generator effect monsters for attacks, and if a Generator effect monster is destroyed by battle, your opponent draws 1 card. You can use this effect of Generator Boss Loot once per turn, but Boss Loot is meant to then in tie with our Generator Boss of Storms to then take away the card that our opponent drew off of this card as a reaction to the spell card itself. The 1 copy of Crossout Designator along with the 1 Terraforming to search out our field spell, Monster Reborn, and Call by the Grave, and Triple Tactics Talent to finish off the 1 of spell lineup. And then for the traps, 2 copies of Generator Boss Fight. You activate 1 Generator field spell directly from your deck or graveyard, then your opponent draws 1 card. You can activate 1 Generator Boss Fight per turn, but giving you that field spell setup is a great setup for them to then react to your opponent's plays, with the last of the traps being 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Just once again, a hand trap along with the Herald of the Orange Lights and the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to use. Now for the extra deck, we are running 2 copies of the boss monster, Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity, needing 2 or more level 9 monsters. So if we use our World Legacy Monstrosity, we can use all 3 of the monsters to overlay into this card. You can only control 1 Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. This card's original attack and defense become 1,000 times its number of materials. Quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card. Each player draws 1 card. Then each player that drew attaches 1 card from their hand or field to this card. You can only use this effect of Jormungandr, Boss of Eternity, once per turn. So not only is the added draw power for the attached to this card, means that with that draw power, your opponent will then give to Jormungandr, the World Serpent, with their bounty that they possess, so making it all the stronger with each material that this card gains as well for the added play. So you're giving 1 material to then gain 2 off of this card. 2 copies of our Levitine Generator monster, with this card needing 2 or more level 9 monsters as well. You can only control 1 Levitine Generator Boss of Shadows. Monsters you control or your opponent control lose 1,000 attack and defense. Quick effect, you contribute this Xyz summon card to special summon 1 non-fairy Generator Xyz monster from your extra deck. Then you can attach cards from the field or graveyard to that special summon monster as material up to the number of materials that this card had. So just another way to then get out Jormungandr for this card, having more of a way to to weaken your opponent's cards as well for that added setup on the field also. The other Xyz monsters that we run include the 1 Mirror Logic Aggregator and the 1 9 Lives Cat. Most of the time you're going to go for the Generator Xyz monsters in this deck. These are just added backup Xyz monsters to be able to summon out. And then for our Link monsters, the 1 Barricade Board Blocker, the field spell is very important. You want to have that field spell set up, so having this card as just another way to protect it, as well as the add back power of that field spell, the 1 IP Masquerena, the 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven, the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and the 1 Bujinki Ashashima for the Link 2 monsters. And then the higher links being the 1 copy of World of Gears, Neurological Demiurge. With this card, if the added level 3 or 5, 3 level 5 or higher monsters to make this card as well. And then just having those different types during your main phase if you control this card. And it was linked someone using 3 monsters that had 3 different types and attributes, which once again with this deck can be easily done. So one of the better destruction effects to use in the deck, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn along with the 1 Access Code Talker and the 1 Underworld Goddess to finish off the extra deck and the rest of the Link monsters. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I mentioned before, the field spell is very important for your setup in the deck, but also with the added setup, it gives you a special summon of a generator monster as well. And then also if you special summon a generator monster during your opponent's turn, except during the damage step, you can special summon those tokens as well. So if a card's added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, which once again can be done with our generator cards, also using the field spell. So let's go off of the actual play that Jormungandr is supposed to do, which this card can also be done with the setup with our best starters in the deck, which would be either Lone Fire Blossom or our Lopter Shadow of the Generator bosses, which also, if those Record of Ragnarok fans are out there, tell me this doesn't look like Nostradamus in one way or another. Very key to the fact with all the Nordic mythology for this deck, but depending on the setup, you either have Lone Fire Blossom or Lopter for this play. So let's say you go for the Lone Fire Tribute play to summon out your next one, being Mardell, Generator Boss of Light. And then with this card, if it is normal or special, you can add 1 Generator card, 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand. You can then in turn use the card to search out your Generator boss stage, and then from there also have the additional setup for your tokens on the field as well, depending if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand or not. But still, you can go for the added search for one of your other monsters for the special summon, or just add the field spell and then activate it and then go off of your opponent's play for that summon, because then with this card being able to special summon a generator monster from your deck in defense, if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, which with a lot of cards in the current meta can easily be done with the deck as well. So when that happens, you can have the added play to special summon out your generator monster off of the field spell. It has to be in defense, but we're showing it here just to show what the card effect can do. You go and control 1, and once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand, except during the draw phase, you can make your opponent send 1 card from their hand to the field to the graveyard. And when a card effect is activated, you contribute 2 generator cards. So this will give you the special summon of your generator monster. And then since you summoned it on your opponent's turn, you can get the additional tokens as well for the generator cards to then be used as tribute fodder for the generator monster that you summoned out on the field as well. If you activate and respond to your opponent's cards, you can then use those additional generator monsters on the following turn to summon out your go-to boss monster, being Jormungandr, and then have the additional draw power of this card being the quick effect on your opponent's turn for the detach 1 to then also have each player draw a card, and then those 2 additional cards that you and your opponent drew will then attach on to this monster for the added material, adding to this card's attack and overall power because of it also. If we have the setup with cards like World Legacy and Monstrosity, and we already have the Marcel as mentioned on the field as well, we can activate this card targeting 2 1 level 9 monster you control and special summon from your deck 2 level 9 monsters with different original type and attribute, which once again can easily be done in this deck, having a Fire Beast Warrior and a Light Rock, for example, which then those 3, before we even go to our opponent's turn, can then be used to overlay into our Jormungandr, giving us a bigger monster, and then the option for the additional special summon on our opponent's turn, and then the token special summon setup as well from there for the deck to use. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'm always taking recommendations for updates you'd like to see in decks in the future down in the comments below. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.